It had been a long week with a lot of late nights shooting for clients, and I finally had a day off. I hadn't bothered to check the weather, had no plans, and hadn't set an alarm. When I eventually woke up and looked outside, this is what the sky looked like, and I knew in an instant that I now officially had plans for the rest of the day. Cloudy days with soft, even light are the days I love to be able to take advantage of to get out in the woods with a couple of cameras. Before I was even halfway finished with my coffee, I was in my office prepping gear. My trusty old pickup truck racked up a few more miles on the odometer, getting me to where I wanted to go. A place where the woods are filled with gnarled old oak trees that are covered with thick moss, lichens, and multiple varieties of ferns and epiphytes. Epiphyte is a technical term for what some people call air plants, by the way. Some days when I'm shooting just for myself, I like to wander aimlessly with a variety of focal length lenses and shoot whatever catches my creative eye. Other days, like today, I'll give myself a creative assignment to concentrate on. My self-assignment on this day was to primarily shoot shallow depth of field and macro. I limited myself to carrying an XH2 and an XT3 body and two lenses that I swapped back and forth between them. The 80mm f2.8 macro and the 56mm f1.2. The gnarled old oaks were a treasure trove of moss, lichens, and ferns that were perfect as subjects for my self-assignment. Reindeer moss, which is actually a lichen and not a moss as the name implies, and other varieties of genuine moss also grow abundantly in these woods, and I decided that they would be a perfect subject to use to switch up my technique for a bit and practice some focus stacking. Here is a 52 image stack of some reindeer moss that I made. A few small creatures captured my attention as I roamed. At one point, I encountered a pair of armadillos foraging for an early dinner. They have really poor eyesight, and because they were engaged in feeding activities, they didn't get spooked because they didn't even realize I was there. From experience, I know that when I encounter a mated pair like this, they won't be too far from their den, so I challenged myself to discover it. Although I don't ever make it a point to deliberately search for them, I often discover geocaches hidden in the woods. This one was very high up and actually required some tree climbing to get to and verify. Eventually I knew I had to put down the cameras and start retracing my steps in order to get to my truck before dark. Surprisingly and unexpectedly, the day had been one of my most productive and fulfilling personal outings in some time. That was good because my other world of photography would start taking over my time again the next day. I had processing to do on files for clients, I would be teaching a class the following morning, and then shooting for clients that afternoon and again every day for the rest of the week. The following week I would be guiding a group photography expedition in the Everglades. I really do enjoy that world of photography. It allows me to use my skills to pay the bills, but on many levels, it will never compare to spending a day alone in the woods, paying off a creative debt to my artistic soul.